Okay, we're just going to have a little look at this, one of our key teaching principles, concept here of feedback. As you can see, feedback's one of the 6 that we're looking to try and embed here at Wath. We've looked at challenge, questioning and feedback in quite a bit of depth so far this year. And we're going to hopefully look to develop practice, modelling and explanation over the next 6 months. So feedback then, what's its purpose? Well, why do we do it? I think the primary reason is obviously, as I've put down here, is to close the learning gap between what the students know and what we want them to know. And as teachers, on a day-by-day basis, it's a two-way thing, this feedback. We're constantly adapting what we're doing to how the students respond, so that feedback's really effective. However, we've got to consider, if our core purpose is to plan and deliver great lessons for our students, is the feedback we give manageable? Is it taking up too much time? Is it fit for purpose? Different subjects require different approaches to feedback. What works well in English might not be effective in maths. But for me, I think as long as the feedback effectively closes this learning gap, points students into the next stage of learning, I think teachers need to have the freedom to make feedback work for them. The big question is what feedback is, or the one type we're using, is it taking its most effective form? Is it verbal? Is it written? So I just want to talk a little bit about an aspect of written feedback that can hopefully reduce workload, but can still have effective feedback seen for students in their books, and combines a bit of written feedback with the key verbal immediate feedback that's been seen to be the most effective. So, live marking. Live marking, the way live marking works, as students are working, this is one way you can look to develop it. Perhaps call them up to your desk, one at a time, spend a minute or two with them, discuss their work, give clear feedback about how you want them to improve and where you want them to go next. That can often, obviously, the students would need to be working on some sort of written task, exam, so that you could be calling these students out one at a time. And perhaps, with something like this, it would be feasible to see the students, I don't know, maybe once or twice over a half term to give them this form of feedback. I've developed it a little bit myself and done it a little bit differently. And again, this is another way you can look to develop live marking, where as the students are working on a task, could be some little stations that they're working on around the content of the lesson. I've actually tried to target a few students, perhaps 8 or 10 in a lesson, and quickly go to them, look at the work they're doing, see how they're working, perhaps write a question in there as a target to improve for the next stage of the learning, particularly in that lesson, and then look to try to get the students to respond to that there and then. Quite simple, but in my experience I've found it quite effective. So, as I say, live marking, that type of feedback that can hopefully reduce workload, but still give quality feedback, individual feedback, where students are getting something perhaps written down in their books, written to respond, but they're getting immediate feedback straight away of where they are in the learning. Okay, good luck and give it a go.